My friends, the entire Iranian Navy got wiped out. I'm not even joking, take a look at that.
A devastating loss for the enemy!
Even US submarines got to have some fun. Imagine spending 20-30 years to build a decent and sizable navy, only for it to be destroyed in an afternoon. The US pulled a real Pearl Harbor on Iran. It was free XP for everyone involved, and they're really proud of it.
The goals of this mission are clear and destroy their navy.
The Navy is gone. It's all lying at the bottom of the ocean. 46 ships. Can you believe it?
Disclaimer, that's when you count fishing boats as warships. And anyway, Iran's makeshift navy was never the fear factor in this entire story. Trump even went for a home run and stated that the war is pretty much complete.
You sure about that?
Oh, what do you mean Iran is not ready to surrender? Whoops, surprise surprise, and now they have an entire fleet hidden underground. So in this video we'll analyze exactly what happened to the Iranian Navy and what it means for the course of the war. But before we do so, a quick word from today's sponsor. We're one quarter into 2026, and we witness how AI is already hiring humans to handle some of its tasks, launching models that can process entire databases in seconds, and co-working agents that feel like your replacement on a slow day. However, this is just the start. With AI getting more efficient and smarter each passing day, it is now time to get smarter with it and to use it to your advantage. I'm going to reveal one product that is completely free and that has changed the lives of 10 million learners from over 100 countries. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, it is possible. Meet Outskill, a platform where you can learn and multiply your AI learning in just 2 days. And this is completely free for you guys. That basically means return of investment without even investing a penny. Outskill's 2-day live AI Mastermind is happening this weekend, 16 hours from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday and Sunday. Designed for a global audience with a well-suited time. It condenses the experience of over 100 practitioners from companies like Nvidia and Microsoft, who've witnessed and built through the AI boom. Now, there are a lot of AI gurus out there, but Outskill is different. You're not just learning from the world's first AI-focused education platform. You're learning from a platform that is generally invested in making sure those skills directly impact the way you work. The main focus is to make you AI independent, to understand exhaustion gaps in AI space and keep you up to date, and to increase your earning potential just by implementing AI. In just 16 hours, here's what you will master. Building AI agents that plan, execute, and report for you. Automating workflows that run even while you sleep. Connecting tools like Sheets, Notions, and many more to create profitable systems. Using AI to save hours every week and get an unfair advantage at work. But why settle for less when you can go back with free bonuses worth $5,000, which includes an amazing AI prompt Bible, a personalized AI toolkit builder, and even a roadmap on how to gain profit through AI that will top up your AI learning experience with them. Also, right now, just by registering, you will get access to their exclusive AI Survival Hackbook, which itself will keep you informed about the major AI shifts happening around. They have a great 4.9 out of 5 rating on Trustpilot. That definitely means they have impressed a lot of learners. Just click on that link in the description below or scan the QR code. And stay updated by joining their WhatsApp community before the big blast. Initially, the role of the Islamic Republic of Iran Navy was mainly to focus on acting as the first line of defense in the Persian Gulf as well as in the Gulf of Oman. That's how the Iranian Navy grew to a size of 18,000 personnel and was composed of about 60 combat vessels. For surface vessels, the Iranian Navy consisted of 7 frigates, 3 of the older British-built Vosper Mark V, and 4 domestically produced Jamaran class. And let's be honest, these warships posed a real threat to all the surrounding Gulf countries. From Bandar Abbas, one of these frigates would only be 4 hours away from Dubai and potentially ruin a lot of boat parties. This force was supplemented by smaller ships, namely 4 Shahid Soleimani class corvettes. These vessels formed the core of the conventional surface combatant force for the Iranian fleet. Additionally, these surface vessels were also strengthened by about 20 patrol ships and fast attack crafts, the same type of ships that Venezuela acquired from Iran. I guess that's a real definition of foreshadowing. We can also mention the Shahid Baheri drone carrier commissioned in February 2025, or even the Shahid Mahdavi. Both were initially large merchant ships, converted by the IRGC Navy into mobile launch platforms. Those were meant as key assets for long-range unmanned warfare, forward presence, and power projection. And what about air cover? Yeah, let's move on to the next topic. As for the subsurface fleet, Iran acquired 3 larger diesel-electric attack submarines from Russia in the 1990s, strengthened by 2 smaller Fateh-class coastal submarines. These vessels are also supplemented by about 20 midget submarines known for their low signature and optimized for shallow water guerrilla tactics. Overall, we can notice how the Iranian Navy is relatively limited in size and lacks blue water power projection, but I don't think that was ever the objective. It's clear that the main focus lays on asymmetric capabilities meant for area denial and choke points like the Strait of Hormuz. By the way, on this map, we can see all the Iranian naval bases along the Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman, with the largest one being Bandar Abbas. It's the primary headquarters and main hub for major surface ships, followed by Konarak and Chabahar. Meaning by 2026, Iran had a beautiful navy.
And it's gone.
On the 28th of February, as part of Operation Epic Fury, the US and Israel started their bombing campaign against Iran. All the strikes against the Iranian Navy seem to have been conducted by the US, as the US was responsible for the southern axis of attack and southern sea access, while Israel engaged Iran from the north, as per the Pentagon brief from March 4th. On the 28th of February, US airstrikes first targeted air defense radars in Bandar Abbas. Moments later, an anchored Iranian Navy frigate was struck in Bandar Konarak. Bandar means port in Persian. Oh boy, we can see that it was a heavy load. The heavy smoke indicates waterline strikes by large warhead missiles, possibly due to Tomahawk missile strikes launched by destroyers in the Lincoln Carrier Strike Group deployed in the Arabian Sea. Meanwhile, locals in Chabahar also witnessed a series of missile strikes against the Imam Ali naval base. The next day, on March 1st, satellite imagery from the Konarak naval base was made public. We can observe that the warship struck on the left-hand side of the image was the IRI Jamaran frigate, which appears to be almost entirely submerged. Additionally, US forces also struck 2 Bayandor-class corvettes. The IRS Bayandor. No, not IRS, IRIS. Iris. I know it's tax season, I didn't want to cause a jump scare, so allow me to restart. The Americans also struck the Iris, Bayandor, and Iris Nahdi corvettes. Additionally, analysts believe 3 other warships have been sunk, 2 Hendijan-class patrol boats and possibly a Delvar-class auxiliary ship. Really looks like a mini Pearl Harbor if you ask me. But on the right side, we can also see how numerous buildings were damaged or destroyed in the harbor. At the same time, the IRCGN naval base in Jask was also targeted. On this map, red squares show satellite-derived thermal hotspots in that harbor. But simply this means shit was burning. And yeah, as you can see in this picture, turns out everything is in flames. Yes, there's more. Iran's largest naval vessel, the IRINS Makran, a converted oil tanker serving as mobile drone carrier, was on fire at the naval base in Bandar Abbas. On March 1st, CENTCOM also reported that another Iranian Jamaran-class frigate was struck by US forces during the start of Operation Epic Fury, and that the ship is currently sinking to the bottom of the Gulf of Oman at a pier in Chabahar. I guess we have to take their word for it, but we don't have any visual confirmation to support this claim. But yeah, after 2 days of war, CENTCOM declared the Iranian regime had 11 ships in the Gulf of Oman. Today, they have 0. And it's true that all the Iranian bases targeted were adjacent to the Gulf of Oman. Iranian warships didn't even have time to launch an attack in a final blaze of glory. I don't know, like a massive kamikaze attack against the Gulf countries. Hit Dubai again! Or even against the US Navy. But no, they didn't. Come on, Do something. Most of Iran's frigates and corvettes in the area were destroyed while anchored in a Pearl Harbor type of attack. Same for one of the Russian Kilo-class submarines. Here we can see it anchored in Bandar Abbas, and in the next satellite image, it's gone. There are also scorch marks right at this location on the dock indicating explosions. While the initial US strikes were carried out with Tomahawk cruise missiles, we have evidence to believe the US Navy Air Force was also involved. According to various estimates, the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln was located in this area around the 28th of February and March 1st, meaning it was positioned about 770 kilometers away from Bandar Abbas, 560 kilometers from Bandar Jask, 345 kilometers from Konarak, and 330 kilometers from Chabahar. All these naval bases are well within the combat radius of the FA-18EF Super Hornets on board of the USS Abraham Lincoln, which range from 390 to 500 nautical miles, or 700 to 900 kilometers, depending on exact mission configuration and payload. That's where you might ask, where was Iran's air defense? Well, we all know how Iran's most effective air defense asset is located in Kuwait, if you know what I mean. No, but for real, where was Iranian air defense? There's reason to believe the Iranian command redeployed most air defense units inland. Essentially, the Iranians sacrificed their navy to protect their long-range weapons arsenal. It's a bit like in chess when you sacrifice a rook to safeguard the queen. Anyway, late at night on March 3rd, footage shows a possible US Navy F-35C targeting the IRGC Navy's Iris Shahid Saeed Shirazi corvette somewhere off the coast of Bandar Abbas near the Strait of Hormuz. In this photo, we can see the smoke trails of the corvette's anti-ship missiles. An explosion detonated on the helipad, and right after, the launch tubes cooked off the moment the ship was struck. This could be the result of 250-pound small diameter bombs like the GBU-39 or GBU-53. We can also observe how the ship's more advanced air defense system, composed of a rotating phased array radar and Sayad-23 medium long-range SAM, failed to intercept US fighter jets before it was struck. The Shahid Sayed Shirazi corvette had a likely much higher readiness than other Iranian warships, since it's a much newer platform built in 2022. And that same day, Iran went through another Pearl Harbor. Locals recorded a Soleimani-class corvette burning off just outside the port of Bandar Abbas. This vessel was special because it was Iran's premier missile catamaran. On March 3rd, a US Navy P-8A maritime patrol aircraft was also flying at very low altitude in the Arabian Sea, possibly scouting the area for enemy submarines. No strikes on March 4th. Iran could breathe a little bit, but by then its navy had been severely attrited. Using the images of the sinking of the Shahid Sayed Shirazi, CENTCOM reported US forces have struck or sunk to the bottom of the ocean more than 20 ships from the Iranian regime. But it's important to understand that this includes patrol boats, small attack crafts, and auxiliary ships. Hold on, what? Oh, and apparently jet skis as well. Oh yeah, and fishing boats too. I mean, that's the Trump trademark, eh? Because check this out. In the satellite image, you can see the harbor of Bandar Abbas. It seems Iran's unconventional force, such as fast attack boats meant for closing the Strait of Hormuz, remain mostly intact. Later that day, locals captured footage of an American MQ-9 Reaper drone circling over the vicinity of the Iranian city of Hormuz in Bushehr province. What was it doing there? Of course, the role could be for ISR, but this could also mean some of the US strikes against the Iranian Navy were launched by drones. But before I can talk about that and the next wave of US airstrikes, there's another event that day that caught everybody's attention.
An American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death.
This was followed by the release of these images that will 100% make history. Early on March 4th, the Los Angeles-class SSN USS Charlotte spotted the Iranian frigate Iris Dena on its periscope and launched two Mark 48 torpedoes at it. and then boom. Wait, why 2 torpedoes? Well, according to CBS, because the first torpedo missed, but the second one sank the Dena. Now hold on, how bad exactly are these torpedoes for the first one to miss a slow-moving frigate unaware that it's being attacked? You heard that well, unaware of the attack. Because plot twist, the Iris Dena frigate was sunk only 25 nautical miles off the coast of Sri Lanka.
What are you doing here?
And fun fact number 2, defense sources have told The Guardian they believe 2 Australians were on board the submarine. And apparently the American sailors told the Australians to stay in their cabin during the attack. That way they're non-belligerent. Hey son, go to your room. The adults need to have a serious conversation. What happened is that Iran dispatched the frigate Iris Dena to India for the Milan 2026 naval military exercises, which involved the participation of over 70 countries, including the United States. The 13th edition of Milan was held under the themes of camaraderie, cooperation, and collaboration from the 15th to the 25th of February. So, nothing out of the ordinary. From the BBC, we learned that 3 Iranian ships, Iris Dena, Iris Bushehr, and Iris Lavan, had all participated in the military exercise hosted by India in the coastal city of Visakhapatnam. There's even this video of an Iranian naval officer being interviewed in a TikTok video during these naval drills. On the 25th of February 2026, the US Navy published this article titled US Navy Concludes Participation in Multilateral Exercise Milan 2026. In it, they only state that the PA-Day Poseidon Maritime Patrol and Reconnaissance aircraft concluded its participation. Just a normal announcement since that was the last day of these naval drills. Camaraderie, right? Cooperation. After Milan 2026, the Iranian frigate Iris Dena left harbor, steaming back home to Iran, and that's when it was ambushed by a US submarine. Sri Lanka's foreign minister said that 32 of the 180 Iranian sailors on board had been rescued. But remember, there were 3 Iranian ships that participated in these naval drills. In the end, the entire crew of 208 members of the Iranian auxiliary ship Bushehr surrendered to Sri Lankan authorities after consultations with government officials and diplomats. India allowed the 3rd vessel, the Lavan landing craft, to dock at Kochi, citing technical issues. Now back to Iran, because while all this was happening, on March 5th, the Iranian Navy's home port of Bandar Abbas was once again targeted and set ablaze. Later that day, CENTCOM also reported the destruction of Iran's Iris Shahid Baheri drone carrier. In the footage, we can observe a first explosion, followed by a second one moments later right on the island of the carrier. That's like the naval equivalent of a headshot. This is likely the result of a 2,000-pound GBU-56 laser-guided JDAMs dropped from an F-18 Hornet that took off from the Lincoln aircraft carrier. Now in the footage, it also seems as if the drone carrier was far at sea. But in this video, it's clear that the Shahid Baheri was also just off the coastline. And on the 7th of March, Bandar Abbas was bombarded once again. But this time the emphasis was not necessarily on the vessels in the harbor, but all the buildings around it. That's where we can notice a strike pattern, aligned roof holes but no completely obliterated buildings. Once again, this could indicate how 250-pound small diameter bombs like the GBU-39 or GBU-53 were used in this operation. That same day, US aircraft also targeted the Bushehr shipyard. That's where we can observe a similar pattern with 6 large holes. And this time it smells like F-15s, as we can believe this operation was carried by ground-based fighter jets deployed in Jordan. Bushehr is located roughly 1,500 kilometers away from US air bases, meaning strike aircraft would have to be refueled on their way back. I mean, yeah, the US Air Force couldn't leave all the glory to the US Navy. And if we look even closer, there's no visibly damaged or destroyed patrol boats. Here we can see a Soleimani-class corvette, and it seems fine. For now, because 24 hours later, another Soleimani-class corvette was struck in Bandar Abbas. Before, after.
A devastating loss for the enemy!
According to other reports, the corvette was actually destroyed in the small harbor of Bandar Kong. And for the Navy geeks out there, here the lack of rotating radar above the bridge points to it being the first or second ship of the class. That same day, on March 9th, Iran's IRGC released footage showing the successful interception of two American-made MQ-9 drones in the sky over Jam and Hormozd region, Bushehr province. In the end, by the 9th of March, we can conclude that the bulk of Iran's navy has been destroyed, and this largely at anchor or in port. US forces picked off Iranian warships one by one, and that was it, while the US suffered negligible losses. The Americans came in, went to Pound Town, and then they left. And that presented the White House with the perfect PR win they needed. And Trump celebrated this success with a victory lap around the field.
The goals of this mission are clear: and destroy their Navy.
The Navy is gone. It's all lying at the bottom of the ocean. 46 ships. Can you believe it?
Mission accomplished. On the 10th of March, the US destroyed one of the Iranian midget submarines in Bandar Abbas, alongside the fourth and last of Iran's Soleimani-class corvettes and the Zulfahar-class fast attack craft. And when Iran mentioned mining the Strait of Hormuz, the US went back to Pound Town, as CENTCOM declared destroying 16 enemy mine layers, which, include a number of dinghies and fishing boats. I guess they have experience from Venezuela. However, what happened to the Iranian Navy left me with many questions. Why was the Iranian Navy inactive? I mean, the ships were just sitting there. Hypothesis number 1, the warships were not operational or undergoing maintenance. Hypothesis number 2, they were not given notice of an attack soon enough to leave port. But that would have been very amateurish considering the US buildup in the region. Or hypothesis number 3, the Iranian command deemed that it would be more logical to leave the ships uncrewed at port rather than sending the vessels out only to be sunk with all the crew aboard. And that would mean that the Iranians actually care about their manpower. Honestly, it could be a combination of all three options. But yeah, overall, the Iranian Navy was never meant to be the country's fear factor. The lightly armed, obsolete warships of the Iranian Navy would have little to no effect in open sea against US warships, especially with no air cover. But we might have some surprises left, as Iran has an entire fleet of small attack crafts hidden underground. That's all I have for you today. See you in the next one.